Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone, welcome to Module 6, Session 3, Elements of Visual Branding. Let's dive in. So in our previous session, we have talked about the concept of visual branding, how visual elements plays an important role, right? And how the brands has utilized those elements to create the essence of the brand, right? And how everything counts, be it from the apparels, right, be it from the space design, be it from the print publications, right, the typography, everything are creating the essence of the brand. And this is where we will primarily focus on this discussion, how those things can be observed and taken into consideration. So we'll go with again multiple cases where the brand has utilized its own elements to project the essence of the brand, and we will see what are the key elements associated to visual branding. So if you see the slide, right, elements of visual branding are the core components that come together to create a cohesive and recognizable brand identity. So these elements work as a tandem to communicate the brand's message, personality and values to the audience. Okay, and primarily it's used to communicate brand's message, personality and values. This is what I have talked about, and you can see here how we will go one by one. So primarily we'll talk about the segments. So we'll start how the elements associated to the brand, right? And the first element is logo. So when we see the logo, right, so it's one of the most recognizable symbol of a brand, and it's very unique mark or an emblem that represents the essence of the brand, which is consistently used across all the platform. Okay, and right now you can see Tata Motors has rebranded recently, and I would say a few years back, and this was a project which was done by Co-Design. Co-Design is a studio which are renowned for their works in visual branding, identity design, and they also have solved multiple they also good in print and publication, and they also provide multiple solutions, and they act as a consultancy in terms of the world of design. So you can see how they have rebranded Tata Motors, and what kind of key elements they have taken into consideration. So so when we say the word visual branding, right, it is very much crucial for establishing the brand identity, and we can see how the idea of Tata Motors has been depicted here in a more refresher look, right? And the primary is the logo, as I said. Next comes the color, right? How you're defining. So this is another element where colors plays an important role, and as we have discussed previously, how colors bring out emotion to one individual, and choosing a specific set of color for a specific representation of a brand is again very much important. And blue color is always associated with trust, right, confidence, and this is where again they have purposely used the concept of the color theory, and how it's associated and how it's playing with our emotion, right? And with this they are also coming with the different naming of that. You can see deep blue, Tata blue, white and black, and that also creates a good correlation and strong depiction of the brand in that way. So now we are coming to the typography, and now typography plays an important role, as we have discussed in the previous segment, right? And this is my assumption that it is taken, the typeface name is IGNOU, and it has a strong correlation with what I assume that this is the typeface. And you can see how it has a larger font family. Again, when you are choosing any kind of typeface for a particular brand, make sure it is a larger font family, such that there is the utilization is more in terms of variations. and there's a consistency in terms of anatomy, okay, and the DNA is maintained. So as I said, the typeface becomes a character of the particular brand. So it's recommended to choose a typeface which has a larger font family, and it will be easier for the brand to manage in different aspect of their representation. And again, the idea of iconography is another segment of the elements. So where you create icons associated to the particular brand, there should be a consistency, and this also brings a cohesive representation when I see the brand in terms of depicting different ideas, especially in the form of icons. And people, especially designers, take time to work on this because these are core a representation of the particular brand in different layouts, right? So if you are projecting any kind of representation which you feel the visual will make more sense, somewhere or the other, some pointers in terms of icons can help a lot in terms of depicting that idea. Yeah, so again, patterns and style. So in this branding, the co-design has also suggested use of grids, dots, right? You can see here it's it feels like it is a grid dots which are being depicted all over. And even when you see the videos associated to that particular brand, you can see this representation of this grids has been projected in a multiple way, in different way, and somewhere or the other, the overall brand style has been evolved from this structure, the grid structure. And you can see how the idea of the promotion is again using some kind of similarity. You can see there is a bigger rectangle with a smaller elongated rectangle, and this has been consistently depicted all over the representation. Again, the consistency is a key in terms of visual branding, and when you create such kind of design guidelines, like if you are addressing the overall layout in this way, the logo will be, if the background is lighter, the logo will be in the darker shape, right? And if the background is darker, the logo will be in the like lighter color. And this is where you can see clearly how it's being replicated and how the composition is being taken into consideration to create some kind of uniformity in terms of depicting that. And the use of same color palette, if we have discussed, if you can recall, we have discussed the same color palette, right? And this has been replicated all over the segments. Okay, again, these are some of the promotions where you can see the similar way how the idea of the brand elements has been taken into consideration, right? The promotion again plays an important role, how you project the brand, what are the elements you are using in terms of projection, what is the tone, right? So if you see, the sense of blue has been always been there in their compositions, right? Similarly, this is their website. Again, within the website, how they're using the similar typeface, the logo, right, the brand mark associated to that particular brand, and how they are projecting it. Again, these are always it has a DNA of the overall brand theme, and these are again primary elements when you talk about visual branding. So a website is also part of visual branding. Okay, with this comes the collaterals, which are very important. So if your brand is larger, you have to also understand what are the things associated to the brand which will be used regularly, which has also will be a source of promoting the brand to create the essence of the brand, right? And you can see here some of the explorations which they have done in terms of collaterals, and using the similar elements of the dotted grid, you can sense it, and the rectangles which are associated to the brand has been reflected again. Okay, so with this we are about to the end session, and this is where the idea of visual branding is very important, and we have highlight all the elements, right? Be it the logo, be it the promotion, the website, the collaterals, right? The typeface, the color, everything becomes a part of the visual branding. And using all these elements, right, you can create the essence of the brand if you can create a better way of representing. Again, the guidelines which we have talked about, right, how, where to use, what to use, when to use such kind of logos also plays an important role in establishing a consistency. So visual branding is crucial for establishing a brand's identity and creating a lasting impression. It ensures a recognition through the consistent values. The visuals sets the brand apart from the competitive market, and it builds trust with a professional and cohesive image. So by leveraging these elements like color, typography, imagery, it communicates the brand's values and it evokes emotional connection, influencing customer loyalty and perception. So the more the consistent it is, it will have a better recall, and that's why brands are sometimes very much hesitant to change everything while they are redesigning it or rebranding it. So there should be a sense of the DNA such that people can connect. Although there is a change, they can also correlate with the heritage of that particular brand. So effective visual branding also conveys credibility and enhances the storytelling. So if you see, all the visual branding elements are associated in storytelling. It tells a story in terms of visual forms, and it has some kind of consistency, uniformity, everything is associated. And overall, when you see this, it creates a perception, an impression upon that particular brand, and it gives a unified experience across the digital and the physical platform, making the brand more memorable and impactful. So the main goal of using visual branding is again associated to how the brand can be recalled. How the more it can be recalled, the more trust you will have in terms of the overall brand, and it will be more memorable and also impactful in terms of from the customer perspective. So with this, we will end this session, and thank you for your time, and I hope you all have got some idea about elements of visual branding and how it is used. You will in the next session we'll talk about the types of logo, which is again as a part of the elements of visual branding, and we'll primarily focus on what are the variants of logo, what are the different types of logo, and how designer can take inspiration from such variations and we can utilize it in our real or live projects which we may encounter in our future, right? With this, thank you and goodbye. Have a nice day.